Hello and welcome to the Eighth No Sessions. I'm Mike Shamil.
And I'm Devin Mullen.
And our returning guest is Damone. Damone, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great on this fine day. Happy Jamaican Day.
Happy Jamaican Day.
And they're celebrating their 60 years of independence from the British Empire.
Yes.
Beautiful. And what we got going on in the back?
Different vendors, it looks like. Definitely some food action going on from Chef Darian. I hope I'm saying his name right. And some live music, which I'm a part of.
Beautiful.
Olmsted Dub System, which is a reggae band around Buffalo. They're killing it. We're killing it.
Now, Damone, how many bands are you in right now? You've got Damone Jackson Outcome. You've got this new band. You've got every time I see you out in public, you're playing with a different group of folks, and I'm just like, how does he improv with everybody? That is a skill.
It's a skill from the man upstairs himself. So I got to give definitely my honor and respect to him. As far as bands go, I will have to just call them projects or hired gun gigs, because I try to put my band first priority, of course. But I'm honored to be a part of the side projects that I'm in, and just to have the respect that they call me is more than a blessing in itself. So I would have to say I'm in a lot of different projects. I don't have a number, an exact number, because it seems like every other day I'm getting phone calls from everybody else, no matter what style it is. A couple years ago, I definitely spoke on a lot of versatility. Being versatile will keep your pockets fat and a roof over your head. The more music that you can play and that you can study and learn, the better off. I'm a firm believer in that. And it doesn't matter if you can read music or not. As long as you can learn the style and absorb it and perfect it, you're good. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I think I know a good deal enough to survive musically. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing.
I've observed, too, when you're playing with people, one of the things that I really admire about your technique is not just how technical you are with the sticks, but when you're playing in a band, I always see that your head is turning to whoever is either playing a solo or another intricate part, and you're breaking down in real time what they're playing. And coming up with a really cool accompaniment to that, or sometimes leading them in a direction your part's done. Let me kind of cue you, and it's your turn. Let's see if I can pass it off. You have this really keen sense of observation, combined with an ability to communicate almost wirelessly to other musicians, from your mind and from your playing, and that takes a lot of time to sort of own.
Well, thanks for noticing that, by the way. I think that's, for me, I try to not make that known or seen, but it's I like to be a team player with any situation that I'm in musically, band or duo. I'm really big into football, so it's I
couldn't tell.
For me, and no disrespect, whoever's watching this or whoever's gonna watch this. I love my city, love my Buffalonians, but I'm a Colts fan, so no offense, no offense.
Yeah.
But I do like being a team player, and it takes a team. It takes a team to win, and I like to win. I love to win. So if we make a mistake, it's like missing a field goal. But the beauty of it is you may have to kick that field goal again. So there's always going to be a next time. So you may miss the first time, but the second and third time, make the field goal, or go for it on 4th and 1 or 4th and goal, get the touchdown. So when I'm giving cues or observing, I like to observe. I mean, sometimes you may see me with my eyes closed and I'll be in a zone. because it's just a feel thing and a comfort
Yeah.
thing. But like if somebody else is soloing and I'm comping them what they're doing, I kind of take a little bit of a jazz approach to it, like, okay, like drop the dynamics down, give that person the floor. But I'll also like to know or to listen to what that person, he or she, is saying. They're telling me a story, not only me, but the audience while they're soloing or while they're making a statement. Okay, like it's time to shut up and listen. So let me break down what I'm doing to either give them the floor or to add to the conversation or to the story that they're telling me and the audience. So I may play something in unison maybe a couple times, and then I may back off dynamically and okay, like finish telling your story. It's kind of like how we're talking right now. One of y'all would chime in and ask a question on top of the question that was asked, but it coexists with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that. You take a life approach to music, and whatever you can come out with that, it could be gold, it can be crap. You don't know, but you got to do it. You got to try it at least. So.
So music is conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You sat down with us for a conversation about 2 years ago. And
Was it 2 years already?
2 years
It's
ago.
been,
I checked.
yeah.
It was in
Oh, man.
2020.
Sitting there over Zoom going, hi.
Right, yeah. I was in
can see you
my
through this
old
tiny
apartment and
screen.
everything. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
How have the past 2 years treated you? How we doing?
They've treated, as far as me personally, as far as, being in a pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, musically and financially, things have been great.
Good.
I have no complaints. Me as a person, I felt like I've grown, but I'm still working on myself with other things, personal growth and whatnot. Knowing when to say yes, knowing when to say no, knowing when to cut people off, knowing when to accept people. I'm very guarded as a person, and, I have my reasons.
Sure.
But, with the growth, I'm also getting older. Like you said, it's been 2 years. I was 29. I'm 31 now, and it's not that big of a stretch, but mentally,
It's
you
a big
grow.
difference, yeah.
You grow. Your way of thinking is different. So that, in that regards, I've been good. As far as social stuff, it's kind of like on a teeter-totter.
I understand that.
There's more accepting of things now, socially and culturally, but there's still that other side which is not good. There's still a lot of segregation here,
Yes.
as well as in the world, or just in America. I hate to bring it up, but it's not just within our society; it's within our own music community too. So
Yeah.
it's like I would like to be more cautious about that, and what can I do to change it or to help change it, because change don't happen overnight. It takes a team to change. I can't do this by myself, but we also have to have these uncomfortable conversations now after what has happened, especially what has happened this year alone.
Oh, yeah.
With that shooting and everything, that woke me up completely, and it made me have a different outlook on society. Where it's like, okay, the stuff that we normally wouldn't talk about, we have to talk about now.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the role of the musician or artist in this conversation?
Exposing those who are against unification and people who are filled with hate. Like, you have to talk about that. There's a lot of hateful people here. That smile and that will shake your hand, but their heart is filled with hate and bitterness. And we all have that. But if you're feeling some type of way, you turn to somebody and you talk about it with a loved one or a best friend or a family member or something like that. But that's on a personal level. When does it come a public issue? Because like with that shooting, that was a public thing, which became an international headline. This is Buffalo, New York. We don't get that type of attention.
No, usually we're talked about for our sports team,
Right,
or our
right.
food, or our arts. When we become the center of attention for something like a mass shooting,
Yeah.
that's like a racist mass shooting,
What I loved
it
about
just takes a lot of momentum away from the other things we're trying to do here.
it does. But what I loved about just the whole unification of the city alone, everybody came out from droves to come support. I hate that it took that to get people from East Aurora and from, suburban cities to come down here to see what people that look like me go through on a daily basis, let alone live out there. We're at Larkin Square right now, which is a whole bunch of it's beautiful diversity here. It's great. But, 10 minutes down the road, it's not a lot of white people who will voluntarily go down there just to go shopping or to go to the park or on a walk or something. Hey, let's go on the east side and let's go take a walk. Can't do it. Where here you can. So it's like, I ask myself, why is that? And it's culture based. We have to change what's in ourselves first in order to be accepted by people who don't look like you or I. That's why I like seeing on these commercials now. There's more interracial commercials. There's more same-sex commercials. There's more transgender commercials. So we're showing our audience who watches TV or who is part of the social media stuff that, hey, look, you have to accept this now.
Yeah.
We don't want to be in the dark about it no more. We don't want to be in the closet anymore. Accept me for just being a human being, or a musician, or, I'm black, you're white. We don't care anything about race, but to other people who may be watching this, or an outsider who doesn't know anything about what we're talking about may look at it and be like, well, what's going on? It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, when we were in the middle of the George Floyd protests, you expressed this sort of anxiety about the cyclical nature of responses to tragedy and social injustice. The way you're talking about it now, it seems to have more of a tone of optimism. Do you think we've reached some kind of critical mass with this kind of news, with this kind of reality? Are people finally waking up, or is it more?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. But we have to stay woke now. We can't go back to sleep on this.
Yeah.
Because when we go back to sleep on it, we ignore it. We ignore it or we forget until something else happens, and then that's when we want to come together. Well, what happens after when the whole massacre is over? It's not the concern of a massacre being a massacre. Yeah, that's going to happen anywhere you go. But my question is, are we going to stay unified like we did after when that mass shooting happened? Or are we just going to just kind of, this happened, I did my part, let me go back to my neck of the woods and kind of just stay in my neck of the woods and don't venture out? There needs to be more of this.
Yeah,
there
needs to be a consistency.
Yes, we look around. It needs to be more of just unification and diverse social norms.
Yeah.
And it's happening. It's happening. I just don't want it to dwindle down.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
when the headlines or headlines are no longer trending,
right?
And when the media crews are gone, it's got to be something where us in the community, we're still out there. You still got to go to the food pantries and pitch in. You still got to help out your local food kitchens. You still got to look out for your neighbors. It's not just when it's trending and when it's cool and all your friends are posting memes about it on Facebook. You got to do the consistency when the spotlight's not on you. And that's something that as a community we really need to improve on that consistency, including us. I mean, I know that there's a lot of room for me to improve on that, but talking to our listeners at home, we got to do this. This is important, because taking care of your neighbors is.
I've got an interview going on. That's Chef Dorian, by the way, that just almost walked through, man. That's the guy who's putting this event on. I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's the man of the hour right there, man. And it's just beautiful to see again. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's beautiful to see somebody like that looks like me accepted in this. Accepted in this environment, and not only being accepted, but leading the pack, giving other young black or people of color an experience and also inspiration by, hey, if he can do it, I can do it too. Because when I was growing up, there was no social media. There was no social media when you was growing up. So the you being told that, hey, you can only be an athlete, or you can only be a musician. You're not gonna do anything else. You can't amount to anything else because of what you look like. That's bullshit. You know, like you could do whatever you want. Sorry, you did it again. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, brother. But no, it's like seeing more inspiration from people who look like me, and also people who look up to me for what I do musically. I would like to be like Chef Dorian too, just in a musical matter. Like, hey, this guy looks like me. He's out in suburban territories. There it is again.
Greg, you used to work in TV. You walk in front of the cameras.
No, it's just really good to see more of more leadership within our culture.
Yeah.
You know.
So it sounds like things are, despite all expectations, taking kind of a positive turn.
Yeah.
There is a sense of optimism, of change, of things slowly, sometimes lurching backwards, but on the whole, going in the right direction.
Yeah, I would have to say so. I mean, the more things are brought to light, I think more people will change. I mean, it's change. It's time for it. It's time for it, man. It's a new society growing up. It's a new culture growing up, where it's like, listen, man, we don't care anymore. We don't want to be like this anymore. And you know what I loved about it the most is after when that shooting happened, nobody there was no rioting, nobody tore anything up, nobody burned anything to the ground, nobody's car got broken into. It was just a beautiful, we don't want any more drama. We just want peace. And if we get that, we'll be better off. We'll be better off.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Or should I say, wagwan?
So, folks, I believe we're getting near showtime. As a treasured member of our community, Damone, where can our audience at home find you playing around these days? And then we'll wrap up.
Central Park Grill, 7 o'clock, $5 at the door every Tuesday night. Damone Jackson Outcome. Please check that out. It's worth your income. It is worth your income.
Beautiful. All right, well, folks, happy Jamaican Day. As you can see, everything is alive and well at Larkinville. There's beautiful food, beautiful vendors, beautiful music, beautiful people happening. With that, I'm Devin Mullen.
I'm Mike Shamil.
And this has
Damone
been the
Jackson.
8th Note Sessions.
Thank you.
Damone Jackson. We'll
Thank
catch
you,
you next
Damone.
time.
You get so, till you can't get through my door. You can't so, come my life today. You can't so, come in.